In 1934, a group of entrepreneurial businessmen purchased property that was known as Johnson's Picnic Grove, but was originally called the Johnson Family Farm. Those enterprising men were playing a hunch that the Memorial Park Cemetery business model, a movement that was sweeping through the country at the time, would be a good fit for Cincinnati. And Arlington Memorial Gardens was born. Flash forward 80 years. Times have obviously changed, but so has Arlington. And there are three significant differences that are essentially byproducts of our day and age. One difference is in the area of pre-planning. Another can broadly be described as consumer expectations. And the third relates to alternative burial arrangements. Well, in the first instance, I think pre-planning has become a much larger component of the services we offer here at Arlington. And that's because most people have accepted the premise that pre-planning is the smart thing to do, and the benefits range from saving money to saving the emotions of their loved one. Because making plans at the time of a death is just fraught with emotion. Even so, there are still many people out there who will refuse to pre-plan or even to discuss pre-planning. And I connect that with the fact that there's a little bit of human arrogance associated with that. The fact that we all think that we control our destinies, that we're in control. But death has a way of saying, that's what you think. I'm in charge here, and we're going to do this on my schedule.
To be able to pre-plan with your family at a time when there's no stress and there's no at need, it's giving them a gift. It's giving them the time to have when you do pass away, that they don't have to come in here on one of the worst days of their life.
Very comfortable. She led us through the whole process. She drove us back to show us where we would be. Very nice.
And we both commented that it was much nicer to do it that way than to be here under stress if we had not planned ahead.
When people ask me what I do out in public, I tell them I work for a cemetery. And the reaction is, "Ooh, how can you do that?" Well, most of my time is spent with families pre-planning. And to me, that's the great part of this job, because you build rapport with families. You're not dealing with the emotion of a death. You can tell stories, you can laugh with about stories and tell jokes even.
Having a place and making arrangements ahead of time makes a tremendous difference. A tremendous difference. There's no way, there's no way I can even tell anyone. That takes a lot of pressure off.
I have an aunt and uncle here that I was somewhat responsible for, and they had done that. And it was so much easier to just know what needed to be done and do it.
As far as consumer expectations are concerned, I think cemetery consumers' expectations have generally followed the broader societal expectations, and that is, people expect more services and better services than they ever have before.
As a consultant, I get a lot of opportunities to work with organizations that say they want to change the customer experience or are committed to changing the customer experience. Sometimes people will say, well, we have a customer experience initiative and it's an event, and they get the entire organization to participate in this event, and the event is over and they go back to being who they were before the initiative. And then other organizations like Arlington really take it as a serious process. Changing the culture into a customer experience culture means so much more than having an event where people are focused on it for just a couple of moments. And I think what is really the difference maker here is the amount of commitment the organization has to becoming a customer-focused organization.
As we walk our families through making arrangements after they've lost a loved one, while we are guiding them through this tragic time in their lives, we understand how overwhelmed they can feel. We are there to guide them.
We can't take away the pain, we can't take away the hurt at a time of death. But if I can make the worst day of their life just a little bit easier, then I've made a difference for that family. And that's why I'm here.
We've been familiar with Arlington for years. It has been chosen by several of our family members. And when we decided what we needed to do, there was no choosing. It was going to be Arlington.
They say we can't always go back home, but when you come here, even though it's coming to Arlington, it's a pretty place, and it's been kept up. And everyone here I've found in the administrative part have been so nice in dealing with them that it just took the pressure off. They just took care of everything, and I didn't have to worry about the little things.
Anybody can say that they're wonderful with customers, but when you get behind the scenes, you see if they're actually committed to it. And Arlington is making a difference because they're committed to it.
And finally, with regard to alternative arrangements, Arlington is in a fairly unique position in terms of cemetery operations because many of the families that we serve still prefer ground burial. But even so, we've obviously seen a growing interest in cremation, which is also accompanied by an interest in above-ground entombment. And that's why we've continued to expand our mausoleum options, including the Phase 2 of the Lakeside Chapel. It simply responds to both of those areas.
I've always had a problem with being in the ground, and that came as a young person, a child, when my father died, and they took me to see where he was buried, and it had snowed the night before. And I did not like that, and I've not liked that thought ever since then. So this is just, for us, it's ideal.
And I think people usually know within the first 15 or 20 minutes when we discuss it if they would like the alternative of mausoleum.
In pre-need, I try to give them the advantage of being in the mausoleum, and I illustrate to them that it's not like it used to be where only the rich could buy a mausoleum crypt.
Eddie and I, when he was living, we knew where we wanted to be. But for the children, for our children, the two girls, it's taken a lot of responsibility and heartache that they don't have to go through. And since neither one of them live here, that's the reason that we bought so many, and we bought those early in that pre-construction process.